You're listening to the WordPress and Tech podcast with Natalie Crow Designs and the NCD Academy, the podcast designed for non-techies in business wanting to build, improve, and maintain profitable WordPress websites without the tech overwhelm. I'm your host, Natalie Crow, creator of the NCD Academy WordPress 101 course and the NCD Tech Sessions membership. I'll be sharing with you tips, tricks, resources, and my take on WordPress from my 14 plus years industry experience as a WordPress expert. I'm a strong believer that tech is just a tool that we as business owners have access to share our message and help more people. So my goal here is to help you demystify the tech and help you make the most of your WordPress website. Let's dive in. Hey there, lovelies. In today's episode, I want to have a chat with you guys in regards to what sort of options we've got if you guys are ever in the situation that one of my lovelies was in today. So I had a lovely contact me in regards to the fact that she's had some problems with her developer. The developer hasn't been very helpful to date, charged her a lot of money and hasn't delivered on the things that she'd asked them to do. Most recently she's noticed that the website's running really poorly, so it's not working on mobile phones very well, which is stopping her from actually receiving income and things like that. People are leaving the site and also making lots of complaints that it's not actually working. She has been able to get the answers that she needs, and the developer hasn't been forthcoming in actually going through and supporting her to make the changes. Says that they'll have a look, but never really takes any action. So she's been in a bit of a hot water situation where she's like, I've had enough. I'd like to move, but I don't really know what I need to do here, and I don't even know whether I've got enough information to be able to actually do that. So what sort of things do we need in this situation if we ever wanted to go and actually move our WordPress website? So first and foremost, if you've got access to your current hosting, so whether that's cPanel hosting or whatever it is, the ability for you to go through and actually log into your hosting account, that's a bonus. Because realistically, if you've got access to that, we generally can go through and actually take a full backup of your website and all your emails and all the moving parts, your databases, etc. And we can usually do a migration. So for example, if you're using cPanel hosting, if you've got your actual login details, username and password for cPanel, your new hosting company can basically take that information and do a full migration for you so that you've got all that information there. If you haven't got access to your hosting, but you do have access to the WordPress Dashboard, which many people do, the developer usually gives them access to it so they can go through and add new content and things. Depending on the level of access that you have with your actual dashboard, presuming that if you go into the dashboard and say, for example, down the left-hand side of your dashboard, you've got things like settings, the plugins, themes. If you've got all of those type of things still on your actual dashboard, your developer's likely given you full administrator's rights, which will be beneficial for you. But it means that you can go through and install plugins, and being able to actually go through and install something like a backup plugin to take a backup of your site, can be something that can be really useful. I use a plugin called All-in-One Migration, which I've loved the plugin. I've paid for the premium upgrades to allow me to go through and do some things like import really large files. So it's the unlimited import add-on. But this allows you to go through and actually take a full backup of your site, including all the moving parts, the database, and the files, anything that's actually needed for your website. You can pretty much go through, take a backup of that actual site, compresses it down into one file. And you can go through, reinstall WordPress on your new hosting, install the plugin, install the actual paid component that you've purchased for the unlimited imports, and then being able to actually go through and import that single file, and you'd have a working website. So that one's quite handy to have. The only catch with that is you do need to have double the hosting storage space to be able to create the backup in the first place. And I've actually got the OneDrive extension for that one as well. So basically I've got it set up so it takes a backup and then exports them out to OneDrive so that they're stored externally when I'm doing backups and that kind of thing. But I found that one to be really beneficial. Other than that, you've got things like Migrator, Updraft Plus, and there's a couple of other ones that you can actually explore. But if you've got access to that, we can definitely look at doing an actual migration, or at least a very backup of your site from there. But what do we do if, say, for example, if your developer ghosts you and you've got no access to your site at all? Well, if we can't actually get into your hosting, although you can actually try and actually contact the hosting company, so we can do, let's say, a domain lookup to see who the actual hosting company is, and what's then basically request contact or request access to the site. If the account's in your name, they should be able to actually give you access again. If it's in the developer's name, then there's a range of different things that take place. Let's say, generally speaking, they won't actually give you access. So what is the next option that we've got? Well, there's a couple of things we can do. There's a website called the Web Archive, and it basically goes through, I think they used to call it the Wayback Machine. And it's a site that goes through and takes snapshots of websites that actually show up on the search engines at any point in time. And it periodically goes through and takes screenshots of the actual website, so that there's an actual, an example of that site. So what we can do is actually go into this Wayback Machine or this the Web Archive, type in the website address, and see whether there's any examples of the website available on this site. Most often, the sites don't work fully, but in terms of going through and having access to some of your content, opposed to having nothing at all if the site's gone down completely, this is a great option. It means that you can go through and actually at least salvage some of the information that you have there. I had one of my lovelies come through to me, 12 months ago now, who had hundreds upon hundreds of different blog posts that she's written over the years that basically she wanted, the website had gone offline. She thought that it was gone completely and that she'd never be able to actually get any of that back. She was heartbroken on the concept. But we were able to go through and actually bring up this website, and there were snapshots of quite a bit of her actual content on this actual site. And it's a free site. You can just go in and actually look it up on Google. But we're able to go through and actually salvage some of the information there. So that's another option there. In terms of actually going through and actually being able to, get some of the information if you do happen to lose access to your site, or if your site goes down for whatever reason. I've had clients come to me where their actual developers held them hostage. Basically, held them at ransom. You pay this, or you're not going to get your website back, and have taken their website down, even though they've well and truly covered their dues in terms of what they were required to pay. So it can be a little bit heart-wrenching to see someone go through that, but there are options for you. But in summary, because we're getting a little bit long here, if you've got access to your hosting company, the hosting account, you can go through and take a backup of your site through your hosting account, and your new company that you'll actually contact, or set up with, should be able to go through and do a migration if you've got that access, particularly if you've got cPanel access. If you've got full access to the WordPress dashboard, then you'll be able to actually go through, install a backup plugin, and take a backup of the site. If you haven't got access to the WordPress dashboard or your hosting, you've got the Wayback Machine, with Web Archive, that you can go back and have a look at your old site to rebuild. Unfortunately, it does mean that you do need to rebuild and then add this new content back, but at least you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. I can't emphasize enough, if you're a WordPress owner, you need to be able to go through and do a backup of your site. And you need to have full control of your site. So if you do get into a situation like this, that you can and do have other options, or the better side of the options here. If you guys have any questions at all, or you're in that situation and you do need some help, feel free to reach out. You can check out the ncdacademy.com.au. There is a contact us form there. Or if you do need website help, you're more than welcome to check out the NCD Tech Sessions membership, which is my monthly build membership for weekly Zoom calls where you can come on in and ask me questions and get advice and support in regards to your actual website. And we do actually do live tech help there and then on the spot. Particularly if there are things that I know that I can fix straight away for you. But yeah, all right, my loves, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. You've been listening to the WordPress and Tech podcast with Natalie Crow. I'd love for you to go through and subscribe so you don't miss any of our next episodes. Also head over to ncdacademy.com.au/podcast for all of our free resources and tools and tips.